Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you doing today? And how is life wherever you are in the world? Did it snow where you are? Is it freezing cold where you are? It's nasty cold here. It snowed last night, but not enough to stick to the roads. But you know, it's winter, and it happens suddenly, which is really interesting because I'm not going to pretend to. I don't want to have a conversation about global warming, but when I was a child in the 80s and the 90s, we had snow every year. Snow started in November and lasted through March. And there were some years where we had a lot of snow. I live in the northern part of West Virginia, north central West Virginia, which we say is the mountains, but there's really no mountains here. We really live in hills, like very large hills. But well, for whatever reason, we call them mountains. Sure. If you go down south, there are things down south that I would consider, in the southeastern part of the state, that I would consider mountains. But up here, they're just big hills. And but we are at like, I don't know, 1,200 feet or 1,400 feet or something like that. So we're a bit above sea level, and so it can get cold and it can get snowy. And when I was a kid, it got cold and snowy every year for an extended period. There would, some years it would snow like at Halloween and not stop until March. There were a few years, I think I was in high school, so probably early 90s, when we missed like months of school because of snow. And I joined the Marines in 1997. And when I got out of the Marines and came back, no snow. And it's been pretty much that way ever since, 20 years later almost. I got out in 2001, so 18 years later, there's still no snow. And that's not to say that there's no snow. What I mean is, like, there's no prolonged snow. Like, I own a motorcycle. I think most of you know that. I have ridden it every month of the year. Whereas when I was a kid, that wasn't possible. Like, it would be snowy and it would stay snowy. But there are 70-degree days now in December and January, and I have no recollection of that in the 80s. So it's weird suddenly to see snow this early in the season. It's strange. It's really strange to me, which it's odd because I grew up with it like this. I grew up with this cold, snowy weather for the winter. It's interests me that it has become strange when it shouldn't be. This was the norm for most of my life. Not most, half of my life. So I don't know. I'm not commenting on whether humans are a factor or whatever. I'm just saying that it's really been a bit weird to have this, and I hope it stays. Like, I miss winter. When I was stationed in the Marine Corps, I was stationed in Hawaii. I lived in Hawaii for 3+ years, 3.5 years, I say, but it was really like 3 years and 4 months or something. I was stationed there for 3 years, and the thing I missed the most about coming home or being here was the weather. It was the changing of the seasons. There are seasons in Hawaii, but not really. Like, there is a winter, but it's 50. It doesn't really get cold. I missed the seasons here, and then when I got out of the Marines and came back, the seasons were kind of all blended together into, the hot season and the cold season, but there wasn't snow. There wasn't this cozy winter feeling. And being that I'm not, I don't prescribe to any particular sect of religion, the winter time does not mean anything to me religiously, but it does have a whole lot of meaning to me in terms of, like, nostalgia and comfort, and it's that time of year where you get to just kind of stay inside and read books and play video games and work on things, and you don't have to cut the grass and do outdoorsy stuff and be expected to be active all the time. And for the last few years, I've been pretty productive in the winter in this shop because there's nothing else to do. My kid doesn't play soccer, which is probably the biggest time sink that I have during spring and fall. I don't mean that in like a negative way, to mean that, you know, because of her soccer I don't get anything done. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is in the winter, I don't have to worry about practices and games and all that stuff, so I get to spend more time at home. And when I spend more time here, I get to spend more time in this space because it's like, well, I'm going to go make something, you know, because you run out of things to do, and lounging around is only, you know, it's only nice for a certain amount of time, and eventually you're like, all right, I need to stop this and go do something. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's cold, it's nasty. I would love to know what it's like where you are. Does winter mean anything special to you? Do you even have winter where you are that you, what you would consider to be a complete change of season, which requires a different set of clothing and, you know, changing the thermostat to from summer to winter mode, that sort of thing. And what does winter mean to you? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate hearing from you. I really mean that. I truthfully mean that. Please, let me know. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends, being wonderful people. I appreciate you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Alexa, tell me a random fact.
The tea gardens of Assam, in India, have their own time zone. On tea garden time, Chaibagan or Bagan time, it's always 1 hour later than India Standard Time.
Why is that?